I gotta say, man, Toni Storm has finally found her niche in AEW. She finally found her character and discovered her identity in timeless Toni Storm. Man, I gotta say, I haven't seen enough of this character to really um form a full-on opinion on where she stands in AEW, like in terms of the pecking order, in terms of great characters on AEW TV. But let's just be honest, it's not going to take very long to decide that Toni Storm is the best character on AEW TV as of right now. And I think as the months go by, she is going to surpass Britt Baker. Because there was a time period where Britt Baker was the face of the women's division in AEW. She was the most interesting thing on TV. Well, now she has pretty much faded into the background. Britt Baker, no one really talks about her like that anymore. She's not popping. Out of every female in that division has really not much any character. They're just good wrestlers, and that's it. But see, if you want to get over in this business, you want to be remembered in a different light, you have to take the route that Toni Storm took. When you look at Ruby Soho, Saraya, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, what's that Japanese girl, that Japanese women's wrestler? I forgot her name. When you look at Nyla Rose and you look at Chris Stattenlander, they don't even come close to what Toni Storm is right now. She is simply a character. And see, this is a company for the past 4 years. They have prioritized tactical wrestling classics over what really matters, what really gets over in wrestling historically, and that is characters, stars, right? You got to have characters on your show in order to build up star power, right? Make the fans care about the character. Present them in how they're supposed to be presented. Now, when it comes to timeless Toni Storm, this is a fresh character. It's a fresh gimmick that no woman has ever done before. This is new. Shout out to whoever came up with this idea. This is a great way to reestablish Toni Storm. She finally has escaped mediocrity. Because let's face it, a lot of those women in AEW are mediocre. They have no substance. There's nothing there. Nothing at all. You cannot tell me that the women's division in AEW is not lacking in character development. You cannot sit there in your TV, watching on your TV, on your couch. You cannot sit there and tell me as a wrestling viewer, as a wrestling fan, that AEW does not lack character development, that their women's division does not lack character development. You can't tell me that. Because at that point, you don't know wrestling if you're saying that. Because you know darn well that characters today, they still get over. There was a point in time where the fan base was clamoring for wrestling. More wrestling. Well, guess what? We have an overkill of wrestling today. There is an endless supply of great classic matches in this era. And it's mainly from AEW. AEW has already proved that they can kill it in putting on stellar, classic 5-star, 6-star, 7-star, 8-star, 10-star matches on a consistent basis. They have already shown that they are competent in that department to produce that on a weekly basis. Okay, give us something different now. We want more character development. Instead of the fans chanting, "We want wrestling," no, we want character development. We want character development. That's what we want. We want to care about these wrestlers from a character standpoint. Oh, well, they're just a good wrestler. They put on a great match. That's not good enough anymore. That's not good enough. It's time as a wrestling viewer to raise your standards for what you want to see from AEW. We know that Toni Storm is a great wrestler. We know that. But beforehand, she had nothing to get her over. There was no substance. There was nothing that made us give a shit about her. Now, she has created this Marilyn Monroe, Hollywood-esque type of gimmick, right? Like a poor man's Marilyn Monroe. She is filled with delusion, and she thinks that she's still famous and timeless and all this stuff. But she knows that her time has run up. Her time has pretty much expired, right? She's playing this Marilyn Monroe character, and she thinks that, her time in the spotlight is still here, even though everybody's trying to tell her that, no, your time is up. It's time for you to, hit the bricks. It's time to, push a new Marilyn Monroe into the spotlight of Hollywood. But no, Toni Storm is telling you it's still my time. I'm still famous. I'm still the attraction, right? She's in this delusion that she thinks that she cannot be replaced as who she is right now in Hollywood. Because, in Hollywood, you have a big star every few years, and then another one comes along and replaces that star, right? A new woman, a new hottest thing comes into play, and that one pushes, they push the present star out the way, right? Okay, your time is up. You had your spotlight. You had your prime. Your prime is up. Like, your prime has ended. It's time to move on. But Toni Storm, who's playing this Marilyn Monroe character, refuses to believe that her time is up, right? in the stages of Hollywood, right? In the world of Hollywood, she still thinks she is famous, that she is the shit, right? So I guess that's kind of where the whole timeless thing came about. That, oh, I can't be replaced by no one. My time isn't up. She's caught in this delusion pretty much, right? That no one can replace her. That she's the hottest thing in Hollywood and no other woman can take her spot. Now, I don't know if that's the premises of the character, but just kind of reading into it a little bit, that's what I was able to take away from it, from just watching the vignette, right? Watching her vignette with RJ City, right, on that last Dynamite episode, right? She's definitely playing the 50s character, the 50s Hollywood star, right? That is caught in delusion, a little bit narcissistic, over the top, dramatic. And I like the character. I like the presentation of it. Like, they're going all in on it. You know, when you see Toni Storm, she's in black and white. She's caught in black and white. And that's how she should be presented. And I thought the character work that she was doing was just next level. I'm like, wow, this is completely different from anything you are seeing on AEW. And that's a fact. Like, we finally have a distinguished, different, unique character on our TV sets that we can actually invest our time into. And notice that Toni Storm has been getting a lot of TV time lately. A lot of TV time. And rightfully so. When you have a defined character that has the attention of the audience, you deserve TV time. When you're a character on a show that people care about, that people are reacting to, you deserve a spot on the card every week. And it's telling the other women in the back that, listen, if you want to get as much TV time as Toni Storm, you got to step up your game too. You got to find a better character for yourself. You have to discover your own identity in AEW if you want to get as much TV time as Toni Storm. You can't just be a great wrestler. Being a great wrestler is not good enough anymore. It's not good enough anymore. Why do you think NXT destroyed AEW in the ratings Tuesday night? Why do you think that happened? Because star power in 2023 will sell more tickets, will sell out an arena any day than just pure wrestling, than just a 5-star match. Get out of here with that mess. That is not what is selling in AE. That's not what's selling in wrestling today. Okay, let alone AEW. That's not selling any tickets. It's not getting people invested. It's not. It's characters like Toni Storm. Now I want to see more of timeless Toni Storm. Now, I'm not saying, earlier that could be what her character is about, but based on what I saw, it definitely reminded me of, it gave me that interpretation, right, of what her character is. This delusional, narcissistic, Hollywood star, Marilyn Monroe-esque, right? And the way she was working in the ring was different. She had more animation and more nuances during her match with Sky Blue. The one moment in the match where she went to go for her corner hip attack, she took a moment to pause and face the camera. The camera zoomed in on her facial expressions, right? And this is very important for any character, on a wrestling character. It's to catch the facial expressions, right, of that character. Whatever that facial expression the wrestler is making, it's very important to catch that, right? To kind of zoom in on that expression, because it actually, to me anyway, it actually raises the match quality, right? To me, in my opinion, right? She just had a moment of, like, she was in her character, right? She was playing her character to perfection. She had the smeared lipstick. You know, she was a little bit psycho crazed, off her rocker, but at the same time, she's narcissistic and delusional, right? The perfect combination, right? And she displayed those facial expressions perfectly in that moment. She was very animated. This is all before she hit that running corner hip attack. See, that's what she needs to do every single match. It's like, think about The Rock, right? Think about how The Rock would strip off his elbow pad right before he would hit the people's elbow. Notice how the camera would always zoom in on The Rock stripping off his elbow pad. The camera would always zoom in on his expression, right? The electrifying man, the most electrifying elbow drop. Like, the facial expressions were to set up the impact of that move, right? That's what it was for, with The Rock. The Rock just didn't hit the elbow drop, the people's elbow drop, just to hit it. No, he added a nuance to the move, right? He added animation to it. He added character. He brought the move to life. And that's what great characters do. They bring wrestling moves to life. They add something to it, whether it be a facial expression or just animating their face, right? And adding nuances. Well, that's what Toni Storm did. That's what Toni Storm did in her match with Sky Blue last week. She didn't just hit the run. Oh, I'm going to hit the running corner attack and just hit my ass and, in my opponent's face, right? I'm not going to just do the running hip attack. No, I'm going to add something to this. I'm going to, play to the camera a little bit, be a little bit animated before I execute the move, because it adds more impact to the move. It brings life to the move, kind of like with The Rock. He brought life, right? The Rock's animations, The Rock's facial expressions, his nuances, it brought life to the people's elbow drop. It just wasn't a singular motion where he's just, I'm just gonna hit an elbow drop. Okay. And there's nothing added on to it. There's no substance to it, right? And that's what I'm talking about. That's great character work, where a character makes a move more impactful and more meaningful. Why do you think people pop for John Cena's five knuckle shuffle? Because he adds something to the move. He adds his own spin on the move, his own flavor, right? His own spice to the move. Anybody can hit a Samoan drop or a frog splash or an elbow drop or a fish drop or a whatever, an uppercut. Anybody can throw a move like that, but it's what you do to bring that move to life. It's what you do in between the moves, like that gets over. You know what I'm saying? It's what you do before executing that move. You know, adding your spin to it, adding your own flavor to the move. I can give plenty of examples. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of Toni Storm. She has come a long way from being pie faced by Charlotte on SmackDown. And hopefully, this character, man, goes far. And they put the women's title back on Toni Storm. They need to do that. Right now, they took the belt off of Saraya and put it on that Japanese woman. I really don't know her name. I cannot pronounce her name for the love of me. I really can't. Maybe you guys can let me know what her name is in the comment section. But yeah, she's champion now. Toni Storm needs to win her title back. She should be the women's champion again for the third time by Full Gear, because this character is over and she's over. So you want to strike while the iron is hot. She is pretty much your face of the women's division in AEW, right? And just in AEW in general, she's the most interesting thing about AEW. Yes, you got MJF, you got Adam Cole, you have character work from those two guys, which is great, right? But Toni Storm is taking things up a notch, and she has found her identity, and she finally gets it, man. She finally gets it. And understanding that character work, character development is more important than just being a good wrestler in today's modern wrestling. So yeah, man, with that being said, this is another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. Make sure to like the video for the algorithm, subscribe for more content, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And are you a fan of timeless Toni Storm? So give me your thoughts down below. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark. Thank you all for watching, and I'm out. Peace.